Hi, welcome. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, or Susan Buchser for short, and I am a candidate for many things, and I'll put that into the description below. But I am running currently for an office here in West Virginia in the USA. Welcome. So, I want to talk today about intersex. So officially in the US, we have male and female as the official genders. And truthfully, I think that is enough for putting on documents that are not medical related. It's enough to put on your driver's license. I mean, we could add one more, an I, for intersex for people in the middle. And we could add a T for people who were once one thing but then transitioned to something else. But I ask you, these people who have changed genders, do you want everybody to know that? Do you want the bartender or your date or whatever to know that if they look at your driver's license? And I'm going to guess you don't. So I think putting 2 or maximum 3 different categories is enough, in my opinion. But I want to talk about something called intersex. With some people deny this, and there's no denying it. And I was just having a conversation with somebody yesterday where I described the fact that I met somebody who was intersex and impregnated themselves when they were a teenager. In fact, they impregnated themselves twice. And when I said the first time, this person was surprised. They'd never heard of that. They didn't know that that could even happen. So yes, it happens. And in fact, these people, in my opinion, are very special. And we should, in fact, stop at birth doing genital mutilation. And this is why. Because if our planet happens to be in peril and we need to get people off the planet quickly so that if something happens here, humanity will continue. Those are the people we want to send off the planet, because not only can they fertilize somebody, they can host a baby. They can do it all. And if they happen to be the absolute last human being, they could impregnate themselves and continue the human race. Now, I know that goes against everybody's, whatever, concept and grain and stuff, but this is reality. And it does happen that people are fertile in both ways, and they impregnate themselves. We also know that lots of animals have that happen to them too. Lots of animals don't need an extra partner to make a baby. So we also, humans, fall into that category too. I mean, we can deny it, but it's truth. And when I explained the story to this person, they then said to me, they'd never heard of that, but okay. But then I said that it happened again to the same person. They got impregnated again. And then this person was immediately thinking that there might be an abusive situation going on at home. And at the moment, I didn't know what to say or have a real comment, because that really wasn't our conversation that we were having. But after thinking about that now for a couple of hours, why might that happen? It might be abuse. It could be. I mean, it really could be. I think the household was somewhat abusive, so it could be that. But it really could be that if after the first time they did a vasectomy so that the sperm would not be produced, so that you could not impregnate yourself. As a growing person in your teens, you're growing. And with growth hormones, you heal, things grow back together. And we know vasectomies sometimes don't take. So I'm going to say this is my answer to that. Vasectomies don't always take, especially probably in young people. And this might be a reason why genital mutilation happens so much at birth, especially in certain communities, because it was back then, back 2,000 years ago, it was necessary. But now we're at a time where it's not necessary. We have ways of controlling these things so that impregnating yourself is not going to happen. But it does sometimes happen, and it could even happen twice like it did, and it probably is because the vasectomy didn't take. Now, whether it's the vasectomy didn't take or the IUD didn't work or whatever the case may be, it might not be abuse in the home. It might be medical abuse. It could be the doctor actually didn't perform the vasectomy or didn't do it correctly or didn't check, or when they checked, they didn't check soon enough and then this happened. It could be the IUD was put in wrong. I've heard many stories of people having bad insertions of IUDs here in the United States. So it could also be an IUD that was put in incorrectly. And then also with a growing body, you sometimes need to maybe get it changed or something. So there's that, the IUD, or whatever the method was to prevent pregnancy was not advised properly. It could be the pill was given and then, or maybe not, or, we don't know. I don't know the details. But I'm going to say medical procedures were done possibly correct or incorrect. It could be just nature having its way, or it could also be the people who make the medical device. So the IUD maker, maybe they're making a faulty IUD, or maybe the people who make the pill produce a low dose pill that doesn't work. And whatever the method was to prevent the pregnancy after the first one, it's clear it didn't work. And so this person got pregnant again. And this blaming the parents always is not always the way to go, especially with these sort of things. I just heard also a story in the news yesterday that 2 12-year-olds got pregnant, so a boy and a girl. And, she says, well, he wanted to do it, and so we did it. And they were using apparently a condom, but the condom broke. So, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the story of condoms breaking, of IUDs not being inserted properly, and other various methods that are just simply not working. So to always blame the pregnant person or the pregnant person's family or whatever the case may be is unacceptable. We need to point our fingers at the healthcare providers who didn't do their work properly, or also at the people who make the contraceptive, that they didn't do it right, that they don't know what they're doing, and their product sucks, basically. It's meant to break. It's meant to fall out. It's meant to cause pregnancy. So that would be a diaphragm. So diaphragms do not work. I can speak from that personally. And so, yes, it could also be something entirely different, but I'm going to say that, each case might be different, but the knowledge is what's needed. So this is called intersex, when you have more than one sexual organ, and sometimes none of them work, and sometimes both of them work. And sometimes one is big and one is small, and sometimes it's barely there. And so there's all these extremes in intersex. And so that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you for listening. Susan4USA.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. See you in the next video.